Good evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Today we're going to be going over the Prediction Princess Shadow Subterror deck profile. I really don't even know what else to call it because, you know, it's such a long name. But this deck was extremely hard to build, but very fun to play. I think the worst matchups of this deck is Monarch, which actually is hit by the list. Hit to almost unplayability, or to the fact where the deck isn't as hard as a matchup. The biggest reason why it was a matchup, it wasn't because of domain, it was just the fact that all of the monarchs were 2800, and they got over your Toritari unless you flipped it face down, which means if they summoned two monarchs, then you were really in trouble. But that was a really hard matchup. Cosmo was a really hard matchup, and both those decks were hit. So this deck seems to have some really good matchups in the future, as Blue Eyes isn't as hard as the Cosmo or Monarch matchup because the Stormforth and all that other stuff are cards. So let's get down to the deck profile. We're going to be running 3 copies of Prediction Princess Toritari. There was a point in time where I was running 2 copies of this card, and the main reason was because I would never ritual summon 3, which might actually be correct. I'll probably never get to my 3rd Toritari, but the fact that I need to have it in my hand, and it's so amazing to have in my hand turn 1, is the reason why I run 3. And also, there have been times where I did actually get to ritual summon 3 times, but more often than not, you don't really ritual summon it 3 times. It is a really good card, and if you can't ritual summon 3 times, then be my guest. It also helps fuel the ritual spell card. For Shadows, 3 copies of Shadow Beast, 3 copies of Shadow Hedgehog, 2 copies of Shadow Squamata, and then the lone copy of Shadow Dragon. This is the Shadow engine, and I feel like this was the best way to run the engine. I was running 3 Squamata, 1 Shadow Falco, you know, the 3 Hedgehog, or the 2 Hedgehog and 3 Beasts. And to be honest with you guys, I didn't really like that. Shadow Falco, you're not going to get its effect off as much as you would like to. To be honest, the only time I ever got its effect off was to special summon itself face down. I never really got its flip effect, so I just cut it for a Shadow Beast because Shadow Beast is amazing. The reason why I'm running 3 copies of Shadow Hedgehog is because Hedgehog Toritari with an Earth monster in your hand makes an instant Sheki Naga with a target in your hand to ditch. So that was pretty good to just ritual summon the Toritari, set the Hedgehog, use Toritari's effect to flip up the Hedgehog, and then gain its effect to get El Shadow Fusion. On your opponent's turn, you fuse with the Hedgehog and your Rock monster or your Earth monster in your hand. You make Sheki Naga, Hedgehog's effect goes off again, and it searches you. More often than not, you're going to get Squamata, or you're going to get, you know, Dragon. Or, I'm sorry, Beast to your hand. Dragon is just easy spot removal. There was a point in time where I really needed it, and I felt that it was pretty necessary. For the Subterrors, 3 copy of Nemesis, 2 Stalagmo, and 2 Umatrix. This is... I love this card, to be honest. Like, I thought it was like the worst card ever, like just reading it off bat. And then, like, after you realize that you can use it to tribute your Shadow Sheki Naga, gain the Sheki Naga's effect, special summon the Subterror monster that you need face down, then use your field spell to flip it face up to banish a card or draw 2 cards. It was really good. It's actually the most important Subterror because it tutors any of those to my side of the field. And more often than not, I just use a Shadow monster. Sometimes I use Manjus, Pot of Forbiddens, and it's just really, really good in that aspect. It's mainly the reason why I'm running 3 Shadow Beasts because back then I actually had Shadow Falco to tutor it to my side of the field in theory, and then I would just Nemesis Warrior to get the free draw, and that would be 9, so I'd be able to summon Stalagmo. But nowadays, that plus a Shadow Monster equals both of these guys, and I get to trigger my Shadow Monster's effects, if I am correct. I'm pretty sure it doesn't say tribute. I'm thinking it's sending as an effect or some crap like that. But even if it does, it actually works because it's still sending as an effect. The deck is really, really good. Like I said, I never really, when I played 3, and 3, these clogged like all days, so I felt that just having this to search these, and then the hidden cities were really good. For the off-theme support, 3 copies of Manju of the Thousand Hands. You would think you wouldn't need this, but when you draw your ritual spell card or your ritual monster and you need a way to search the other 2 and pre-prep isn't available, 3 of these come in handy. If Free My Nigga Construct was back, this will be godly because it's a light monster you can make Construct. Then Pot of Forbidden. A lot of people say that it wasn't necessary, And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Pot of Forbidden isn't like 100%, oh my god, I need to play this card. But I'm going to give you a couple of good reasons why you should play it. First of all, it's a 9. So if you do draw it, all you have to do is Ritual Summon Prediction Prince and Toatari. To be honest with you guys, I always use the Subterra's Field spell card to search the Stalagmo to Ritual Summon with it. So opening Pot of Forbidden isn't the worst thing in the world. Secondly, opening Pot of Forbidden and being able to Ritual Summon is probably one of the best things in the world, because now you have instant access to Pot of Forbidden, which is Pot of Greed, Giant Trunade, a Forceful Century, which I have used plenty of times to win games, or it is a Raigeki, which the Raigeki, you know, we already have, so it isn't that great, but still, the Forceful Century effect is godly. On top of that, it is a level 9, so it's pretty easy to make rank 9s with this card and the Toatari if needed. And then the last Prediction Princess card I forgot to mention is Prediction Princess Coin Girl. She's not that great and she's not that bad. The reasoning behind it is because when she's flip face up, you can't activate any other Prediction Princess cards. If you do open her, she's good. If you get the Ritual Summon, you flip her face up, you can search your Pot of Forbidden to face down defense position, and then on your opponent's turn, you flip your Pot of Forbidden face up, and then you make it a Forceful Century. Ultimately, it's not a terrible card. It's just a card that I wouldn't run in multiples because I wouldn't want to open with it, and it has no synergy with the deck unless I have a Ritual monster on the field, which is being Toatari. For spells, 3 copies of Hidden City. You want to see this card. Unfortunately, you don't want to see 2 copies of Hidden City in your first turn hand because you can only activate 1 Hidden City per turn. To be honest with you guys, more often than not, it's going to be searching my Stalagmo for my first turn play. If it isn't searching Stalagmo, though, it is searching Subterra Nemesis Warrior, which allows me to dodge a bunch of effects. After I use Toatari to flip a monster face down or flip a monster face up, and my opponent wants to get rid of my Toatari, the Nemesis Warrior tributes off the Toatari, searches a Subterra monster that they can't attack, and then I can just keep on abusing it to flipping it face up with this effect. 3 copies of Preparation of Rites, pre-preparation, right? My apologies. Best card. Literally, this card is so nutty. If I were to make a top 5 best cards, this would be in the list, as well as Ultimate Azulkin, because those cards are just really nutty. Anytime you can plus gain the ritual cards that you need, I feel like this card single-handedly brought rituals back. It's just awesome. 3 copies of Shadow Fusion. I noticed that a lot of people like to go on the extra deck, and more I noticed that, the more and more I noticed that Shekinaga was a good card, and I love to have Shadow monsters in my hand. If my opponent does go in the extra deck, this is just free. I just send a Subterra or Shadow monsters from my deck to my graveyard, and then I proceed to summon Shekinaga and make some really tough plays. More often than not, if I'm summoning Shekinaga at that point, I'm making a rank 10 or I'm establishing some type of board. Some decks actually just can't deal with Shekinaga's 2600 attack or 3000 defense, so you know, there's that. Also, it's so good. It's just opening it is awesome. 3 copies of Prediction Ritual. If its graveyard effect is really nice, it gets to search the Koinma, or whatever, I think it's Koinma? Konorma, I'm sorry. It searches the Konorma, and it also searches the ritual monster, Toatari. So, it's really good in that aspect. Sometimes, I normally use Manju to search this, because I know this is going to search the Toatari after I ritual summon. So 2 copies of Instant Fusion. This card's extremely nutty in this deck, mainly because not only can I Instant Fusion for Norden and make a rank 4 play, I can also Instant Fusion for Shadow Winda and then use Nemesis Warrior to use it to tribute off the Winda, special summon a Subterra monster, and then gain Winda's effect to add the Shadow Fusion from my graveyard to my hand if applicable. So this card's really nutty. I wanted to run 3. 1 copy of Terraforming and 1 El Shadow Fusion. I would run more copies of El Shadow Fusion, but as you guys know, it's limited to 1. And then Terraforming is love and Terraforming is life. There was a point in time where I was running multiples. Didn't like it because I don't want to open multiple Terraformings and multiple Hidden Cities. I actually just might drop Hidden City to 2 and then play a 3rd copy of Instant Fusion, because Instant Fusion is that nasty, like seriously, it's that nasty. Now that we're done with the main deck, I can show you guys the extra deck. I'm not going to show you guys the side deck because to be honest with you guys, like I said, this deck had so many hard matchups, it didn't really matter. And then a lot of the side was for, you know, mirror match. Like, I ran 3 maxis, obviously it's at 2 now. The Effect Veilers, the Swords of Concealed Night, blah, blah, blah. Just like really standard stuff. It doesn't really matter, but I think the most important thing is the extra deck. For extra deck, please forgive my Shekinagas, as I wasn't able to get my 3 ultimates because I'm so bad at Yu-Gi-Oh! 3 copies of Shadow Shekinaga. Best card of the deck, best extra deck card of the deck. Card is awesome, being able to negate monster effects. Also being a level 10 body, so I can exceed summon with it for Dora and a whole bunch of other crazy stuff. 2 copies of Winda. Alright, Winda is really good, especially against Blue Eyes. If you can make the Toritari have the set Ummastrix and then a window on the field, your opponent cannot win. Mainly because their only special summon will be their Blue Eyes alternative dragon. You banish it with the Ummastrix and then they just outright lose from there. I mean, granted, there are a couple of other like cheeky outs to that, but more often than not, if you can open Winda, Toritari, Ummastrix, you're gonna win that game. And it's like there's no chance of them winning that game from there on out. Anointilus, El Shaddai Anoyalatus. I'm sorry, I can't really say his name right. I felt that this card is really just a filler. You can take it out for something else if you guys want. I just felt that plus Norden, if I ever like had it, that plus Dweller with empty, empty cards on the board was an Anoyalatus, and its effect is really good. Being able to prevent my opponent from activating Return of the Dragon Lords and all that other stuff. I just thought it was really good, and I had the room, and it's a 9, so you know how I feel about 9s. Elder Entity Norden, I run Instant Fusion, shouldn't really be much else to say about that. And I think, like I said, the best thing is that I have 3 targets for Instant Fusion in his deck, so I thought that was really awesome about this deck. 4 Exceeds, Phantom Fortress Interblastner. This card is a walking Trish, and all it requires a Toritari and a Pot of Forbidden, or 2 Toritaris. I've made it to win games so many times. Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. I've used this to win games so many times too. The burn is like really good. Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Super Dora. Why does it have super twice? This card's really awesome. 3,000 body, 4,000 defense. Makes cards unaffected by other cards, so it's pretty good. 1 copy of Dweller, 1 copy of Diamond Direwolf, Castell, Emerald, and then this is MVP because I'll set a Subterra monster, flip it face up, set it again, Papral Operative, back face up, and then get its effect. Or I know I can't get Stalagmo's effect. Let me check. If you control blah blah blah, once per turn you can. No, actually I couldn't. I think I just had it. I don't remember why I played it. I think it's because I flipped cards face down so many times I couldn't flip it back face up, and I'll just Papral Operative it. But Papral Operative is really good in this deck just because it can flip face down monsters back face up. It's also an out to Swords of Concealing Light when your opponent Swords of Concealing Light to you because that card's not loved at all. That's pretty much just the deck profile. As for record, I really had a hard time playing this deck, mainly because it dropped so many games to like Monarchs, Cosmo, but anything else the deck played extremely well against. I did enter the tournament with it, but that was in the testing stages and it didn't do that well. Ultimately, I think that this is a really good deck. Could it be competitive? I mean, with the new ban list, I think anything is possible. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Let's try to get this video to as many likes as possible. Let's see if we can get 150. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.